You've been told to sleep 8 hours a night. But what if I told you that might be the reason you still wake up tired? Think about it. You go to bed, sleep the recommended hours, but your energy crashes by mid-morning. You push through with caffeine. Your focus slips. You scroll for relief. And somehow, you still feel drained by 2 p.m. So what's really going on? Here's a secret. Top athletes and high-performing CEOs don't just sleep more. They've learned to rest smarter. There are 7 types of rest, and most people are only getting 1. That's like trying to hydrate with coffee instead of water. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how they use strategic rest to sharpen focus, speed up recovery, and protect their mental energy like it's gold. You'll learn how to hit the reset button on your brain during the day, unlock recovery techniques no one talks about, and rebuild your rest routine from scratch. Oh, and if you've ever felt guilty for doing nothing, what I'll show you might flip that mindset for good. So stay right here, because once you understand how to actually rest, your productivity won't just double, it'll compound. You've been taught that sleep is the gold standard of rest, but here's the uncomfortable truth. 8 hours of sleep doesn't guarantee recovery. Why? Because sleep quantity is not the same as sleep quality. And even deeper than that, sleep is only one dimension of real rest. Let's break this myth. Have you ever woken up after a full night of sleep and still felt foggy? That's because your brain and body can't recover from mental overload, emotional stress, or decision fatigue through sleep alone. You're using one tool for a job that requires a full toolkit. Sleep handles physical fatigue. But what about the mental exhaustion from overthinking, the emotional wear from constant pressure, the spiritual depletion from lack of purpose? Those require completely different strategies. Most people go through life thinking they're resting when they're actually just pausing. Scrolling on your phone? Not rest. Binge watching a show? Maybe a distraction, but not real recovery. True rest isn't just time off. It's targeted restoration. And here's where it gets even worse. Because we think we're resting, we don't seek better strategies. We tolerate burnout. We normalize being tired. We settle for energy that's just barely enough. But high performers? They know the truth. While the average person treats rest as passive, the elite treat it as strategic recovery. It's intentional, measurable, and non-negotiable, just like training, nutrition, or focus. If you've ever said, "But I slept well," and still felt burnout, now you know why. And here's the kicker. This misunderstanding about rest isn't just costing you energy. It's costing you creativity, clarity, and long-term success. Stick with me, because next I'll show you what only 13% of people truly understand about recharging and why it changes everything. If that hit home, consider subscribing right now so you don't miss the next secret. Here's a question. If almost everyone feels tired, why do a few people seem unstoppable? A global wellness study revealed something wild. Only 13% of people feel consistently well-rested and energized throughout their day. 13%. These aren't people with fewer responsibilities. They're often the busiest: founders, creatives, elite athletes, top executives. The difference? They've cracked the code of energy recovery, and it has surprisingly little to do with sleeping longer. They practice intentional rest habits that rebuild energy before it crashes. They don't earn rest by burning out. They schedule it, prioritize it, and treat it as fuel for performance. They know when to push and when to pull back strategically. This 13% understands that energy is like capital. You don't just spend it. You invest it, protect it, and refill it on command before you go into the red. And when your brain starts to associate short, high-quality breaks with deep recovery, that's when rest stops being a luxury and becomes a performance tool. Now ask yourself, are you living like the 87%, constantly depleted and blaming it on sleep? Or are you ready to upgrade your rest strategy and join the 13%? Because next, I'll show you the secret reset switch for your brain. No nap required. What if your brain had a built-in reset button and you've just never been taught how to press it? Here's something high performers know. Your brain doesn't need hours to recover. It needs specific cues. There's a concept called a cognitive reset, a short, intentional interruption that clears mental fog, restores focus, and reboots clarity. The best part? It takes less than 10 minutes. Here's how it works. The human brain wasn't designed for endless focus. Research shows that after about 90 minutes of deep work, performance declines sharply, unless there's a reset. That's where tools like non-sleep deep rest, NSDR, visualization, or even a 10-minute walk in silence come in. These activities deactivate the default mode network in your brain and shift you into a state of mental recovery. Top CEOs literally schedule these resets between meetings. Elite athletes do them between training blocks. Why? Because when done right, one reset can restore more clarity than an extra hour of sleep. Still grinding through your day like it's a marathon? It's not. It's a series of sprints, and recovery in between is non-negotiable. Next, I'll break down the 7 dimensions of rest and why missing even one can keep you stuck in burnout. If you've been treating all rest the same, that's the real problem. Dr. Sandra Dalton-Smith identified 7 distinct types of rest, and missing even one can quietly drain your energy, no matter how much you sleep. Here's the breakdown. Physical rest includes sleep, but also stretching and gentle movement. Mental rest, quick breaks between tasks. Silence, no screens. Emotional rest, dropping the mask, letting yourself be honest. Sensory rest, reducing input. Sound, light, screens. Creative rest, recharging by experiencing beauty, nature, or art. Social rest, being around people who refill your energy, or being alone if needed. Spiritual rest, feeling part of something bigger. Purpose, alignment. Now imagine trying to function while running low on 4 or 5 of these. That's most people. You sleep 8 hours and still feel exhausted. Not because you're lazy, but because your rest is incomplete. But when you know which type you're missing, recovery becomes strategic, not random. This model isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right kind of less. Drop a comment. Which type of rest are you not getting enough of? Up next, the daily recovery method elite performers swear by. Rest doesn't always mean stillness. Some of the most effective recovery happens in motion. It's called active recovery, a method used by elite athletes, Navy SEALs, and top performers to restore energy without stopping completely. Here's the idea. Instead of collapsing after intense work, you shift gears. You move into low-intensity activity that boosts circulation, resets your nervous system, and clears mental clutter. Examples include light walking after focused work, gentle stretching with calm music, mindfully tidying your space, a slow bike ride, post-meeting. This isn't about fitness. It's about maintaining just enough movement to signal, we're recovering, not quitting. And here's why it works. After a deep focus sprint, jumping into your phone or social media kills your recovery. Your brain stays overstimulated. But active recovery allows your body to reset without friction. It's motion that heals. Professionals who master this can transition faster between intense efforts without draining their battery. So if you want sharper focus, steadier energy, and fewer crashes, don't go passive. Recover with intention. Recover with movement. Next, I'll show you how to build your personal rest architecture, a weekly system for peak recovery and performance. Most people plan their tasks, but almost no one plans their rest. That's why high performance so often leads to burnout. Tons of effort, zero recovery strategy. Enter your rest architecture, a weekly framework that turns recovery into a repeatable, automated system. Here's how to build it. Track your natural energy rhythms. Are you sharp in the morning? Do you crash after lunch? Use this data to schedule targeted recovery before you hit a wall. Match rest types to specific days. Maybe Monday is for mental rest, Wednesday for creative recovery, Friday for emotional resets. Protect recovery blocks like appointments. 10 intentional minutes can restore more energy than an hour of mindless distraction. Remember, rest isn't what you do after work. It's what makes work sustainable. Top performers don't wait to feel exhausted. They engineer energy through proactive recovery. So if your week feels like a sprint with no water breaks, maybe it's time to fix the system. Because once rest becomes part of your design, not an afterthought, everything changes. Now let's wrap this up and show you what it means to become dangerously well-rested. You've been resting wrong, not because you're lazy, but because no one taught you how to rest strategically. Now you know, rest isn't just sleep, it's a layered active system. It's the fuel behind focus, creativity, and resilience. So don't just work harder, recover smarter. Start using cognitive resets. Schedule real rest. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. If this gave you clarity, imagine what's coming next. Hit like, subscribe, and join the Zero to Wealth community, where smart minds learn to thrive, not just survive. Your future self? They're dangerously well rested. See you in the next one.